No hands you got stand with all your might. Anything shout, reignite, truth in the mouth, try to ignite, rebels rise, hear the sound, metal echoes all around.
Good morning. Let's see here. Let me post this.
I'm here this time. I'm here. I am
Yeah,
here.
Thank God.
Guess who's back again?
Yeah. Well, unless if you've never been here before, it's Saturday, which is the day that we always do the Metalheads Unite. So welcome.
Yep.
If you've
Yeah.
if you haven't joined us before, welcome. If you have, then welcome back. So
Welcome back. Yeah, that's right.
welcome back.
Yep. Mr. Carter.
Mr. Carter. Yeah, half the people in this that listen to us are like, "What the fuck are they talking?"
We just aged out a whole bunch of people by making that reference. Holy shit.
Oh man, I see you wore your Megadeth shirt. I almost did, and I was like, just because they just released a new album, of course.
Yep.
The final album.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could have wore. I mean, we have several Megadeth shirts between us, so I mean.
Well, yeah. Well, I honestly looked through and like think about like, okay, what if I haven't wore that one in a while. So actually, I haven't wore this shirt since we've interviewed the band in like mid 24. So I was like, we'll pull out the Havoc shirts.
Oh yeah.
I think it's somewhere around there anyway. Because I was going through some videos and had to I said, oh shit, I haven't worn that one in a while.
Yeah, you could have definitely done. You could have definitely done a whole lot worse than Havoc. So I mean, it's a good choice.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I have shirts from bands that are any better or worse than Havoc. So.
Right? No, I know.
I think most of the stuff's on an even playing field. I would think.
Yeah, I mean,
to me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's a heavy metal band shirt. I mean, there's really no right or wrong choice. It's just,
That's right. I always used to make the joke about when I was at Amazon, some lady I would ask me, said that I worked with, said, "Dan, do you own anything else?" I'm like, you know how you go to your closet and you say, "Hey, I want to wear red or black or blue," or something. She goes, "Yeah." I said, I'm like, Havoc, Metallica, Megadeth, Lamb of God.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Trivium, Bullet for My Valentine.
It's all black, so
Yeah,
just go through the list.
That's right.
Hopefully, we get to add some more to that from the shows that got announced, which we'll get into a little bit later. But,
man, this was a hell of a week.
I know, and I got a trip planned for Ireland, man. They got to lay off this shit.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. This was one of those weeks where it was quality and quantity. Because I mean, I got like 4 pages of shit to go through, but I mean, there's a lot of good stuff, man. It definitely.
I tried to help you a little bit. I didn't know if you were going back from last week to this week too, so I tried to like pick a couple out.
I didn't, but I mean, I could, because I mean, I still have last week's work, so I mean, I can, but I'd have to pull it up because I mean,
you got 4 pages. That's probably enough.
I mean, that's true. I mean, I tell you what I'll do. I'll take a look at last week's, and if there were, I can't remember at this point, because I mean, I did so many last night, because I'll take a look and I'll see if there were any major ones last week, and then we'll talk about those. But okay. And then I'll run through this week's list, which is up to date. So,
all right. So, I guess.
But yeah, we ready.
Yeah. So. Welcome back, by the way. Kind of a last minute.
Yeah, dude, that was an absolute last second kind of holy shit moment kind of thing. I mean, everything's fine. It wasn't involving any medical emergencies or anything like that. No one was hurt, no one was sick. Everyone's still alive, everyone's fine. But it was just one of those things that popped up last second. It was like, oh shit, so. It happens sometimes. Thankfully, that was, the first time in, a little over 5 years that we've had to do something like that where either one of us had to be solo. So, I mean, I guess, all things considered, not doing too bad. I mean, having some technical difficulties and somebody dropping out for a second and coming back is different. But yeah, I definitely didn't want to leave you hanging, but I really didn't have much of a choice. So
it's
You
all
know,
good. So kind of want
definitely
to
was not the plan. So
right. So kind of want to touch on that because we had talked about before about kind of going through some music on here or videos or whatever, and just
yeah,
analyzing a little bit. So I was like, yeah, okay, we'll try that or whatever. Well, I played the creator video and the Lamb of God video from that got released last week from YouTube. And I got flagged for the Lamb of God one. The creator one was fine, evidently, but the Lamb of God one I got flagged for saying Sony Music's, didn't allow blah 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 blah. Which we know we've been in this situation before with Sony. So with the theme of the show for many years was Spirit,
right,
rather right in the light, right in the light. But so that kept going and going, and then Sony Music was like, "No, don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it." So they kept, and finally they quit messing with me about it. But this one, they was like, "No, I appealed it," and they said, "No, it doesn't matter." I'm just like, dude, you're sharing from YouTube. You're going to allow me to do that to Facebook and allow me to do that to
basically any social media page that
yeah,
we had.
but
You
I
know, we
can't
could have
do it.
shared it.
I can't watch it on the show and let people see it here, which is I don't know, blows my mind of how that's any different. But none of this is monetized, so
No,
it's kind of like okay, what's the damn difference of me doing it here and then doing it on Facebook? I mean, I'm sure maybe y'all got an agreement or whatever. That's fine, but we're just a little podcast, and we're just doing different things and trying to find different things to do. Especially with that happen, I was like, man, I ain't no way I could do a 2 hour show by myself. I mean, that's kind of
right,
impossible.
yeah.
but but
Well, yeah, half your
I got
half your content, yeah, half the content was gone.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I did do an hour or a little over an hour. So I did get through that much of it. So it was all good. But yeah, it just kind of frustrated me for them to do that, and it was kind of like, man, that's kind of fucked up. But
well, I mean, it's irritating because I mean, they did the same thing at the beginning of the year. Of course, the last 2 years they did it. They did it with our in memoriam segment last year. They did it the same thing this year. And it's
yep,
like, you know, I look on the face of it. I understand. I understand on the face of it, but like you said, you can go to you can go to YouTube and you can share. We could share it to our Instagram. We could share it to our X account. We could share it to basically any of our social media platforms that we want. All we're trying to do, and here's the messed up thing, is I've seen these YouTube channels where it's like so and so reacts. Like these
yeah,
reaction
reaction
channels,
videos, yeah,
and no, I'm not trying to and talk shit about any of them because I've watched some of them and they're actually pretty good, because they'll do kind of what we do and they'll listen to something for the first time and
dissect it.
they'll give like a live reaction and all that stuff, and there's no problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. But if we as a podcast are just trying to like, hey, check out what came out today, all we're doing
Right.
is basically what YouTube already does. We're not taking any revenue. We're not taking revenue away from anybody because we're not making any. We're not making any.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first off, we'd be saving YouTube money because we're sharing it, here. And maybe that's what it is. We're sharing it here, and then other people are watching it without actually clicking. I don't know. Maybe that's the deal.
But I mean,
That could be
maybe,
what it is. I mean,
maybe.
but I mean, you're still doing it, but you're still doing it on the reaction. Those reaction videos are the same though. Like you can't click the video. I mean,
Right.
maybe I should have provided a link in the in the comments or something. Maybe that would have
Maybe.
helped us
I
out.
don't. Maybe. I
You
don't
know what?
know.
I think I'm going to talk to somebody at YouTube about that. And I'm going to email them and say, man, what the fuck's the deal? Like, I don't understand. Like, So, that being said, what's going to happen is I'm going to get I'm going to wind up buying me a new like equalizer board, and I'm going to make sure that our radio station can play through that, and you can hear it on the show.
Oh,
And then
see,
once
there
we
you
do
go.
that, then you can kiss my ass because we pay $10,000 a year to play whatever the fuck we want. So
Yeah.
I don't personally, but I pay a monthly fee to the guy that does that. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah. We have licensing rights through
that's right
through the radio
through
station.
the radio
So.
station. So then they can kiss my ass then. So.
Yeah, because then I mean we won't even be using them at that point.
Nope.
So
Nope. So
I didn't, and don't get me wrong, I do love YouTube. God,
I do, yeah.
The amount of stuff I've watched on YouTube over the years is just ridiculous. But so I mean, I do love YouTube, but it's kind of like that, it's kind of like that thing. It's like well, it's the whole thing with with social media in general. It's like Facebook is like they run the world now. As far as like the digital world at this point. So it's like, okay, you already own everything anyway. I mean, somebody can't just take a little bit of it just for a minute and go do something else with it. It's not like anything's coming out of your fucking pocket.
Right.
It's just ridiculous. It's just, I mean, like I say, on the face of it, I understand because it's a video that's on YouTube, so I do get the technicality part of it, but I mean, you showed the video, once. And then the funny thing is the podcast is actually also on YouTube, which means the video of the video is still on the place where the video is already
originated from.
So I mean, aside from the fact that you played it for like, I don't know how long the song is, so let's just say you took 5 minutes away from YouTube just to just to our fans, hey, check out the the Lou Lamb of God video. But here's the funny thing. As soon as the live stream is over, which the live stream also broadcast to YouTube, which means you were broadcasting a video on YouTube that was on YouTube, sharing it live, then it also, after the fact, was still available to watch on YouTube. Where's the problem? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand it,
Yeah, I don't either, but whatever. Maybe we'll get some clarification. I'll kind of try to reach out and get some clarification on that, because that's really, it was really strange to me. I'm just like, wow, that's kind of the way I looked at it. It was like, you could share it through here. I mean, you could watch it back on here. So,
yeah.
I guess like people, they were thinking, oh, well, people will watch your show and watch it instead of watching the video, which is untrue. There's
no way.
No, I mean, you're able to watch it in a more, I don't want to say more high definition, but maybe, I mean, I don't know. It would be any different, except for you could blow it up full screen on whatever you're watching it on. You couldn't. I don't know if you could have done that here or not. Maybe, but I mean, I had it full screen. I had it full screen when I was playing it, but so yeah, it's what it is.
Well, I mean, it's frustrating because you and I off the air, of course, have talked before about wanting to share a little bit. We wanted to start maybe sprinkling in some actual okay, here's a new release from X, Y, and Z. About maybe instead of just doing a regular talk show like we're doing today, just for something fresh.
Right.
I mean, the Megadeth came out yesterday. Creator came out last week. Lamb of God has come out with a new single. Rob Zombie dropped another new single yesterday. So I mean, and here's the funny thing is, you and I we've talked about it before, how we're always getting new music content in our inbox.
Right.
And and I know this, but like when we click on an email from one of these PR firms for some of this upcoming new music, there's always a notation at the very, very top of the email before you get to the body of the email that says this track, and this track are clear for radio/podcast air.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we are told when we get these emails that, hey, you can play this on your podcast. But here's the thing. If we're getting a music video in an email from the PR firm that gives us permission and we play the video, if the video that we're getting is a YouTube video, how the hell is YouTube going to know that we got permission? So that's what I'm saying. That's how it's kind of ridiculous. We're getting permission from the PR firm to play a video clip.
Now you got me. Now you got me wanting to pull something up just to play it just to see if we get flagged.
Because there's plenty of stuff that we can. I mean, hell, between Curtis and Dustin and Corinne and Sophia and all these people who have been sending us stuff to our email. I mean, there's a bunch of shit that we've been given permission to play. But if we tried it, what would happen?
Yeah, there's at least 5 or 6 labels in there. So I mean,
yeah,
so it's kind of we've talked about it before. It's hard for us to keep up with everything that comes out. So we try. I mean, but
yeah,
you know,
I have made
I'm not traveling anymore, so that's what's got
yeah,
me
I
not
have
being able to do what I used to do. But
yeah, I have so far this year, 3 weeks into 2026, I have made a much more concerted effort to try to make sure that, I'm listening to more of the,
mm-hmm.
of the new release for list from Heavy Music HQ. I've been trying to pay more attention to the stuff in the inbox, and it's been a little bit of a balancing act, but I think I'm doing okay. I've already listened to more EPs in 2026 than I did all of last year. So I
Nice.
feel good. I feel
Yeah,
good
I
about
got.
that.
There's a couple on the list this week I want to check out. I
Yeah,
haven't
so I feel good
gotten
about
to yet.
that. So I mean,
Of course,
I'm
listen to the album that I reviewed, and then of course you had to listen to Megadeth. So
oh, absolutely.
it's kind
You
of by the
know,
time I got both of those in, it was kind of
well,
no time.
well,
After prepping for this too, it's kind of.
yeah. I mean, I did.
But definitely get into it. And like I said, we may share. It's what we probably should do. Just start sharing some of that stuff over on our page on Facebook. So that's another thing that kind of want to tell you guys. Like from here on out, we're probably going to just post album reviews on the page. That's mainly where most of the bands follow us at. So
Mhm.
we want to make sure they're recognizing the recognition and stuff because they're a lot of them are in our group because the group's kind of a little bit more active. So
Yeah.
they don't want to get notified for 7 to 10
Yeah.
times a day from
Yeah.
shit we post. But
Well, and I can understand why a band would follow a page more, because a page is like
mhm.
you said, a page is public and like everyone can see it. So
Yeah,
if
true.
they're following something that's public that everybody else can see, I can kind of understand why.
Mhm.
Because I mean, bands, they have their own shit to worry about, then they have like stuff from fans that they have to worry about. So
Mhm.
I get why their kind of attention would be limited. So I totally understand that.
Mhm. And of course, this show goes on both the page and the group.
Yes. Yes.
So you can kind of you know catch any of the stuff that we review on here.
Yep.
You can kind of see on either one. So
Yeah.
and then sometimes, most of the time, I'll just do the band interviews. I'll kind of send that over to Dana at Metal and Tats too. But
Yeah.
most of the time, it's just the band interviews. I know those people probably don't want to listen to us talk every week, but they're like, not those guys again. We talked to them for 3 hours the other night at the show.
All right. Yeah.
Uh, all right, I guess we better dig into this one.
Yep.
Let's see here. Get back over here to my content here. So, um, this is like, I'll just say this: January 20th is bigger than some of my whole lists. I was sitting there going through this. I'm like, no, another 20th, Jesus Christ! Like, and I kept finding stuff because I was seeing past Instagram stuff that I may have missed. So I was like seeing stuff there. I'm just like, damn, all these people, like Jesus Christ. But anyway, I'll get into it because it's a pretty lengthy deal.
Okay.
Take a big breath here and
Yeah, take an ace.
and,
Take an
I
ace.
was I was
Take an
I
ace.
was, I was thinking, I said, man, maybe I should just do both again just to be safe. And then I seen all that, and I said, there's no way in hell I'm doing last week's and this week's, and not in the same breath anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Which all right, from the 18th of January until the 24th, which is today. And like I said, I haven't been on today, so if I've missed anybody that's been posted today, then I don't, maybe Chris had seen it and I haven't, or whatever. But
I did. I mean, I did post one, but I mean, if we have to get back to it, that's fine.
I think I had that one actually. So I thought, if I'm thinking about the right one, but we'll see. All right, January 18th, we had Jonathan Davis. Of course, he's the vocalist for Korn. We had, for some reason this week hates me because I'm having to pronounce some fucked up ass names this week, and I apologize in advance. So, but Hannes Van Dahl, drummer for Sabaton. I don't know. I don't know if that's correct or not, but and then we had our good friend Salem, keyboardist and cellist from over at Valkyrie's Fire. I don't even know her last name, by the way. I was like,
no, I mean that's just how they. That's just how they introduced her.
Like Banana or
Yeah.
whatever. Prince, I guess. I don't know. But,
yeah, she got one name.
Yeah, she got one name. So January 19th, we had Jeff Pilson, bassist for Dokken from 83 to 88, and then from 95 to 2000, and then he was with Dio from 93 to 2004. So, man, that guy's been in the who's who of bands, really. So,
yeah.
I don't know who he's playing with now, but he does still play. I just can't remember who he's with. But then we had Whitfield Crane, vocalist for Ugly Kid Joe. And if you don't know who that is, we hate everything about you. So, uh,
Everything. Yep.
January 20th, we had Ian Hill, bassist for Judas Priest. Paul Stanley, guitar, songwriter, and vocalist for Kiss. We had Sid Wilson, turntablist for Slipknot. We had Greg Kressel, bassist for The Offspring from 1984 to 2018. I mean, he was there for a minute. Tracy Guns, guitarist and songwriter for LA Guns. Rob Borden, drummer for Linkin Park. Matthew Tuck, guitarist and vocalist for Bullet for My Valentine. We had Derek Green, vocalist for Sepultura. Oscar Frederick Dronjak, guitarist for Hammerfall. Herman Frank, guitarist for Accept from 82 to 83, and then 2010 to 2014. And then he's also with Victory, and he's also done a lot of solo stuff as Herman Frank. So
Yep.
then we had Martin Skarupka, drummer for Cradle of Filth. And like I said, that was almost as much as some of my lists. So January 21st, we had Will Chain, bassist for Cage Fight. We had Mike Torana, session and touring drummer for Artesian and Axel Rudy Pell. Cordell Crockett, bassist for Ugly Kid Joe. Tony Dolan, vocalist for Venom Inc., and was also in the original Venom as well.
Yep.
January 22nd, we had Steve Riley, drummer for LA Guns and Wasp, and he unfortunately passed away in 2023. We had Steven Adler, drummer and songwriter for Guns N' Roses from 1985 to 1990. We had Ben Moody, guitarist for Evanescence from 1995 to 2003. And we had Orianthi, session and touring guitarist for Alice Cooper. January 23rd, we had Samsa Astala, drummer for Lordi, 2000 to 2010. And January 24th, which is today, we had Nigel Glockler, drummer for Saxon. John Mayung, bassist for Dream Theater. Michael Kiske, vocalist for Halloween from 1986 to 1993. And they rejoined the band in 2016 until to the present. So then we had Whittoad Kiltaika, drummer for Decapitated. He unfortunately passed away in 2007. And that is the birthday list I had. So I didn't know whether to include this or not, but I'll mention it. Poppy did have a birthday this week. I don't know if any of the fans are actually metal fans or not, but she's been kind of in the news headlines.
I guess she's trying. I don't know. I guess she's trying. But.
Definitely some rock aspects for sure. But yeah, I was just kind of like, should I include it? Should I not? So I'll just mention it. But
yeah.
But that were the birthdays I had. I don't know if there was anything I missed or.
I don't think so. Like I say, the one that I posted earlier, you included, so we're good. Yeah. So.
All right, good deal. And then I'll give out a personal one. My daughter had a birthday this past week, so happy birthday
she
to
did
her as well. So.
Yep. Happy birthday to Alyssa.
So. And then that will take us into our news of the week, which there was a lot of stuff going on. So.
Yeah, there was. And I'm gonna lead off with one that I definitely would have talked about last week had I, been able to attend. And I, if I'm holding it over for another week, you can probably guess as to why, and you would be correct. So this one was for. You could probably understand why. This was at pretty much every single one of the news outlets, but I went with Blabbermouth. Like I say, this was from a couple weeks ago, actually, because 2 weeks ago, our show on the 10th, this actually happened on the 10th, but it was after we'd already gone off the air. So the story at this point is 2 weeks old, but I'm not gonna let something like this fall by the wayside because we're not the Grammys. So over from Blabbermouth, Bobby Weir, a founding member of the legendary Grateful Dead, has died at age of 78. Quote, "It is with profound sadness that we share the passing of Bobby Weir. He transitioned peacefully surrounded by loved ones after courageously battling cancer as only Bobby could. Unfortunately, he succumbed to underlying lung issues. Bobby will forever be a guiding force whose unique artistry shaped American music. His work did more than fill rooms with music. It was warm sunlight that filled the soul, building a community, a language, and a feeling of family that generations of fans carry with them. Every chord he played, every word he sang was an integral part of the stories he wove. There was an invitation to feel, to question, to wander, and to belong." End quote. So who the hell? I doesn't say who the quote was from. I'm sorry. Maybe it was from social media. Um, but let's see what else we got. It said Weir was a founding member of the legendary Grateful Dead. Since forming the band in 1965, he had become one of rock's most distinctive rhythm guitarists, shaping not only the sound of the Grateful Dead but also the culture of American music itself. Over 6 decades, Weir had continued to inspire generations of artists and audiences alike. His contributions earning him recognition as one of the most influential figures in rock history. And that there's a little bit more of this, it's kind of it gets a little bit, TLDR going on, but that last paragraph is the reason why, sometimes when, we talk about, because I mean, let's be honest, the Grateful Dead is not a metal band,
Right.
but that last paragraph is exactly why we talk about some of these bands who aren't directly heavy metal, because also shaped the culture of American music itself, earning him recognition as one of the most influential figures in rock history. That right there is why.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody passes away like that and you're like, "Oh, well, they weren't even in a metal band. Why are you talking about that?" That's why. Because influence. A band formed in 1965. Hell, 5 years, almost 5 years before Black Sabbath even came around. As far as their first album, I mean, Black Sabbath, they were formed in 68. We know that. But, so everything's got to start somewhere. We've talked about it before. So, when you're talking about someone who has influence, over multi generations of
Right.
musicians, that's why we include that.
Yeah.
So if they're not talking about metal, not in the direct sense. You just have to build a bridge and get over that, because somebody who has that kind of influence, when they pass, we're going to mention it. So
Well, I mean, like I said, it's one of those one of those you know, just like you said, one of those things where we don't know who in the metal industry would say this, but I'm sure somebody out there said, "Oh yeah, that dude was an inspiration of mine. He got me playing guitar." I mean,
yeah,
so
that's what I mean.
like whether he was, I imagine he was probably high at the time, being a Grateful Dead.
High all the time.
But yeah, I mean that's like I said, we even include birthdays and stuff that I feel like, you know, probably shouldn't be because they're not metal. But then again, you think about, I know for a fact some of the ones that I've listed, I've heard people say, just like Neil Peart. Neil Peart, was he metal? No. Was he rock? Yes. But
Absolutely.
how many damn people did he influence into drumming? Like is unreal because
Oh, so many.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
you
so
can't
many.
deny like the history and everything that they
Hmm.
have with other bands, like so you know that's why we have to talk about
Right,
it.
right. Because I mean, with some of these musicians, and I'm not even talking about the bands that they're in. Without some of these musicians coming along, 4, 5, 6 decades ago, there's no telling what bands we wouldn't have if it wasn't for them.
Well, yeah, that's true too. I mean,
Because you have inspiration, and then inspiration evolves into something else.
well, I mean, just think if Black Sabbath never formed, I mean,
Right.
what would we even be talking about right now? It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Exactly. So I mean,
I mean,
you know,
you got to have a base to start. You got to have like a foundation to start
yeah,
things and then
yeah, you
build off
absolutely.
that foundation. And that's what most metal bands have done since, since the inception of Black Sabbath. It's kind of
Hmm.
used that foundation and built their own sound from it. So,
Yep.
and of course, technology has helped a lot of bands too with
Well, I mean, that's
with
true.
things
That's
these
true.
days. So
That's
all
true.
right, my
But I mean, how many bands how many bands have said over the years that they are influenced by the Beatles? The Beatles weren't
well,
heavy
that's
metal.
true. Yeah,
So I mean,
exactly.
but when Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, unfortunately, because they're the only two left, when they pass away, we're going to mention it.
Well, yeah, because I mean that's just they're a, they're a brick in the
A brick in the wall.
brick in the wall. Yeah.
Brick in the wall.
Hmm.
Of course, we may not talk about Roger Waters because fuck that guy, but
That dude's. I think he's done too much acid or something. I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway, my first one's over from Metal Sucks. A recently instated California law is revitalizing another sexual assault case against rock star Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee. Um, He's once again facing allegations that he attempted to force a woman to perform oral copulation along with other non-consensual sexual activities during a 2003 helicopter ride. Suck it or jump, bitch. The case in question was originally filed back in 2023 by a woman who at the time waited to be identified as Jane Doe, who wanted to be identified as Jane Doe, but has since revealed herself to be Heather Taylor. The suit was dismissed a year later over concerns that there wasn't enough evidence to hear the case since the statute of limitations had already elapsed under the Sexual Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act. However, due to the recent passage of AB 250 in California, adult survivors of sexual assault have until December 31st, 2027 to refile civil lawsuits that had been dismissed over statute of limitation issues. Taylor told Rolling Stone that she had been anticipating that something like this would happen. Quote, if anyone thought my prior dismissal was a retreat, they vastly miscalculated my stamina. I dismissed my own case to await this legislation. Sorry. Now that I have the law in my favor, I'm seeking justice, end quote. According to Taylor's original complaint, which is largely mirrored in her 14-page complaint, the incident occurred when she agreed to go on a sightseeing trip with her friend and pilot David Martz back in 2003, in February 2003, that is. She was then surprised when Lee was also waiting for them at the hangar. The complaint claims that both Martz and Lee consumed several alcoholic beverages, smoked marijuana, and snorted cocaine before the Motley Crue drummer began forcibly groping, kissing, and penetrating her with his fingers and attempting to force her to perform oral copulation. Taylor alleges that Martz chuckled at what was going on. The incident was described in the original lawsuit as follows. Quote, at one point, Lee penetrated plaintiff with his fingers while fondling her breasts. Lee then pulled down his pants and attempted to force plaintiff's head toward his genitals. By this point, plaintiff was in tears, but she had nowhere to go. She was trapped with little mobility to leave the cockpit. Quote. The suit went on to say that after dropping Lee back off in Van Nuys, Martz then took Taylor back to San Diego County without seeing anything during the trip. Though she claims she was lured onto the trip under false pretenses by both men, the only person who can possibly be held accountable for the alleged incident is Lee, since Martz died in a plane accident in August 2015. Under this new lawsuit filing, Taylor is seeking claims related to sexual battery, gender violence, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and negligence. As a result, she's asking to receive an unspecified amount for there you go. Compensatory and punitive damage and demanding a jury trial. This is the latest fallout to come from AB 250, which also serves as the backdrop for a previously dismissed case against Marilyn Manson to get revitalized earlier this month. Chances are they won't be the only cases that come back to the forefront. Would be probably sad to say, but it's probably correct. You're probably going to see a lot more of that.
You're probably right.
Coming out into the open. So, I mean, we've said this on the show many times. If he did it, by all means, he needs to be, needs to be, punished to the extent of the law. But
absolutely,
if he didn't, then what's to say anybody else could come across and do the same thing? I mean, this is the thing. Like, and I'm not sure what California law is. I know some states do have this law where if you make false allegations, you can be charged yourself.
And you should.
You should if it's false. But like I said, there's no way. It's almost like it's her word against his at this point because they're the only two that's alive to talk about it. So and of course, I mean, you would think 2003 they would have DNA stuff and everything where she could have went to the hospital and got all that done. I mean, I would think in 2003 they already had that stuff.
I'm pretty sure they did, but I don't know. But I don't care. I mean, I don't care how famous somebody is. I mean, it doesn't give you carte blanche to do whatever you want to people,
right?
In the name of your name. Like if you're a household name, well, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't give you the right to do whatever you want. So yeah, I mean, if there's any way to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he did any of these things, then yeah, bye. So absolutely, Tommy Lee, Marilyn Manson, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I mean, you don't get to just walk around just doing whatever the hell you want, man. That's not how this shit works.
I love the people that say that I'm a household name. Well, names also go on tombstones. Just saying.
This is true. So yeah, that shit doesn't matter.
we'll kind of keep I'll keep tracking if anything else pops up about it. We'll uh,
Yeah.
even if it's briefly, we'll try to talk about it a little bit,
Yeah. I mean,
see what comes of it.
right. It might be like it might be in the form of just like a headline or something, but
Well,
yeah, we're
right,
not,
yeah,
yeah,
then,
we
and
won't.
then again, with the way it sounds, like he could probably come up with some money and she'll dismiss it. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's true. They could all, I mean, stuff like this always gets settled out of court all the time with enough zeros thrown at it.
well,
So, I mean,
so that's a problem to me too, because if it was just about your dignity and stuff like that, then why settle out of court? I mean, take it to the extreme, get him
hmm
punished for what he
yeah.
did, and quit fucking taking money and settling out of court. If these people actually did something to you and assaulted you, then by God, they should serve time for it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not,
See it all the way to the
they
end.
shouldn't be able to say, "Hey, here's $1 million, leave me alone." No, motherfucker,
Right.
you go
I agree.
spend your 100 days in jail or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's longer than that, but I'm just saying, whatever the case is, they need to
Absolutely.
serve their time for it,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely. Because I mean, if
Quit
if people,
settling.
right? I mean, if people with money can just be like, well, all I got to do is write a check and it'll all go away. If that mentality is able to continue, then I mean, how are people going to learn?
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they're just going
So
to be. That's telling them that they can do what the fuck they want to do and pay
exactly,
somebody off. I mean,
it's almost just settling out of court is almost enabling,
mhm.
almost.
Well, not to get political, but we've seen stuff with the Epstein, we've seen stuff with P Diddy. I mean, those are prime examples of what people do when they think that their money is above law. I mean, so
Agreed. Yeah.
when you got famous people with lots of money, that's kind of what they think. Well,
Yeah. That's absolutely what they think.
yeah.
How much will it cost to make this go away? I mean, that's the mentality.
Well, I'll say this: if if I come into money, there'll be signs. There'll be signs. I will be doing this from on location somewhere. I won't be.
It'll probably be warm.
They'll be
Probably
like,
be warm. It'll be
they'll be like,
warm.
"Why is that motherfucker in an igloo? What the fuck is he doing?"
Yeah.
uh,
All right. Let's see. My next one here, also staying over at Blabbermouth, but this one was everywhere too. Francis Buckholz, the original Scorpions bassist who provided their rhythmic heartbeat during their ascent to global superstardom, passed away yesterday at the age of 71. And this was yesterday, so he died on the 22nd.
right.
His family confirmed that he died peacefully following a private battle with cancer. Buckholz was the original bass player for the Scorpions' most definitive lineup, joining the group in 1973. Throughout the 70s and 80s, his precise and melodic bass lines anchored the band's signature sound, a blend of high-octane hard rock and the power ballads that defined a generation. And man, if that's not accurate, I don't know what the hell is. Talking about Wind of Change and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Fans worldwide recognize his work on the band's most enduring anthems, such as Rock You Like a Hurricane, Still Loving You, and Wind of Change, a song that became the unofficial soundtrack of the fall of the Berlin Wall and remains one of the best-selling singles in history. During his
Wow.
tenure, the Scorpions sold over 100 million albums, and Buckholz was honored with more than 50 gold and platinum awards worldwide for his contributions to rock history. Let's see. Quote, our hearts are shattered. Throughout his fight with cancer, we stayed by his side, facing every challenge as a family, exactly the way he taught us. He was a family man through and through, and our grief is beyond words. That was a brief statement from a joint statement from the family. So obviously that just basically just touches on, talking 100 million albums worldwide, 50 gold and platinum awards. I mean, you're just scratching the surface of this guy's career.
Oh, yeah.
Francis is survived by his wife Hella, their son Sebastian, and twin daughters Louisa and Marietta. The family has requested privacy as they grieve their loss, as should be their privilege. So,
Right. That's probably our first, I think, probably bigger known name to pass away this year. So I'm sure. Well, I say that, but I mean, people knew, Grateful Dead and
yeah.
and all that stuff. But I'm just saying, as far as in the metal community, that's probably
Yeah.
the first bigger name that we've had to talk about. So,
Yeah. Thankfully, I will say this. Thankfully, we are off to a little bit more of a slower start. I do have, spoiler alert, I do have one more to talk about, but we're almost to February and we're just now hitting 5. So I mean, maybe
Okay.
that'll be a little bit of a good sign for the rest of the year. Maybe
I hope
maybe
so.
we won't. Maybe we hopefully we won't be in the 60s this year. That would be nice.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Have 60 people in the metal community die
Yeah,
every year. It's kind of,
just in this cocoon that we're in.
that's not counting. That's not even counting like the actors and country artists or
Oh, of
anything.
course.
Sports people. There's a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of I've seen a lot of sports deaths already this year. It's kind of crazy to see.
Yeah.
But I mean, young people too. 30s and 40s. It's kind of like wow.
Yeah.
It's, I still I'm not going to say anything. I would still like to say if there was a certain uh, thing that may have been forced upon them. So just saying, that would have anything to do with the 30-something-year-old having a damn heart attack. But
You're right. Yeah.
especially an athlete that's
Right.
you know,
Yep. I agree.
you say hereditary, but hell, if his dad's at the funeral and he's 66, then I mean that's probably not
Right.
hereditary.
Yeah. Yeah. The math isn't mathing.
Yeah, the math on math. Yeah. So, oh man, but yeah. Francis was, big part of, and I mean, Scorpions in general is a big part of my childhood. So I mean, I'm sure it
Same.
was yours too. So I mean,
Same.
for them, and he was part of like the bigger, impact on the industry. Scorpions, So
Yeah.
So I mean, during that time frame that he was there was, in their prime, so to speak. So.
Yeah, I mean that's another band that was formed in 1968. I mean
Yeah.
they're just now 67, 67, somewhere in the late 60s because they're celebrating their 60th anniversary. So
Right.
again, you want to talk about, of course, we'll talk about Francis specifically, but you want to talk about an influential band. This is a band that's still around.
Right.
60 years and they're still
And
around.
then just to think of how many German metal bands came after them that's probably saying, "Hey, Scorpions got me into this."
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
I guarantee you, if we could sit Wolf, I guarantee you, if we could sit Wolf Hoffman down, and if we could get Martin Motnick on the show again, they would both be able to talk about Scorpions and how they were.
oh yeah,
I guarantee you.
sure.
I'd bet money on it. Them, Primal Fear. I mean,
Destruction, probably
Oh, yeah.
Creator. All those,
yeah,
all the bands.
Udo.
Udo, yeah,
Yeah, guarantee you.
I mean, yeah, because Accept kind of came around, not probably around the same time. So
Yeah.
they probably actually toured together a lot of times. Probably,
I bet they did.
Well, I mean, because you think about now, like, oh, well, that's probably impossible. Well, man, now because of all the bands back then, they didn't have 160 bands in Germany. Metal bands, not just just metal.
Right.
Bands, so.
Yeah. Because I mean, hell, Accept is about to celebrate their 50th anniversary. So I
Yeah,
guarantee
that's
you,
what I'm saying. They had to tour together because there wasn't that many bands then. So
oh yeah, I guarantee you they've crossed paths. There's no doubt about it.
yeah. All right, this one over. I'm gonna stay with metal sucks. Yesterday, this was yesterday. It was actually Thursday. Thursday, thrash band Legends Exodus dropped their first single to their forthcoming album Goliath, titled 3111 or 3111. I don't know how they pronounce it. I haven't listened to the song yet, unfortunately. But
Oh, have you not? Okay.
no, not yet. I've got it on the playlist, but I haven't. Like I said, I've been trying to do everything for this and haven't really had time to sit back and soak things in yet. So,
Right. No.
So it's fast, it hits hard, it's a banger. But one of the unfortunate things that came out of the whole thing was the fact that they didn't have a music video to share for the drop. To be clear, they had a video, but YouTube blocked it from being uploaded to the service because it apparently broke their community guidelines for graphic displays of violence, which makes sense because the song is all about Mexican cartels and the murders that happened down in Juarez in 2010. Multiple attempts were made to edit the video for inclusion on YouTube, but it didn't work out. Earlier today, they put the video up on Twitter because that's a lawless place on the internet. After watching the video, I can understand why YouTube got upset about the content. But come on, we see worse on the news every day. But I digress. Exodus guitarist Gary Holt has gone on the record to say they intend on posting a censored version to YouTube as well, but that's taking some time to get done. For the meantime, you can check out the video over on Twitter, or X as we know it now.
Yeah.
Goliath will be released on March 26th, but you can pre-order your copy today. So just go over to Exodus's website and get the pre-order link there. I haven't pre-ordered that one yet. I did get the Zootropic or whatever album of Megadeth, which just came out on Monday. Like I was about to go in and buy I was going to go ahead and buy the pre-order the yeah, I was going to do the pre-order of the silver one. I was going to get the
Yeah, yeah,
silver.
yeah,
I was going to get the
yeah.
silver one. I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I seen that one. They said exclusively just released. I said, "Whoa, wait a minute, what's this?" And I got to looking at it, and it's pretty cool. Like, so when it spins, it's got I was just like shooting a bird. I was like, "That's pretty cool."
Yeah.
So I mean, with it being exclusive, and you know how I am, so
Oh yeah. No, I mean it makes sense.
it says exclusive. So I had to, I think they would. I'm the guy that they'll get in the end times, going, "Hey, come over here and get this exclusive." Chopping block, and put your head in it. Oh yeah, it's exclusive.
Yeah, come and take this exclusive free ride in this blacked out panel van.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, shit, first 500 riders, I'm in.
So it's not just us. YouTube's on a tear, I guess, of
Yeah.
telling people they can't post shit. So
Honestly, though, I'll say this: I'm surprised that Gary Holt is going to censor anything just to get it posted on YouTube. I'm surprised. He didn't tell them,
that's
I'm surprised he didn't tell them, "Fuck off. We'll just post it where we can. We don't need your shit." But
just to add a little unknown fact that you may not know about me. I've actually been to Juarez, but it was in the '80s, so
uh,
it wasn't that bad then. So
uh,
it was a very very poor city in Mexico though, so I could see how the cartels just kind of took it over because I mean those people didn't have the money or anything to fight.
right.
Kind of like some things here where people just come and took land and nobody could fight back. So
Right.
so but
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
neither here nor there.
Yeah, that sucks. I do hate to hear that. I really do.
I miss.
All right.
I did. I missed the story. Oh.
Okay. Cool.
I got to back up. So.
Okay.
uh,
All right, my next one, going over to the PRP for this one. Veteran grindcore band Flesh Parade have announced the passing of their bassist Jorge Caicedo. A statement shared by the band's guitarist Rene Perez on Friday, January 16th, conveyed the sad news. It reads as follows. Quote, "It is with great sorrow and pain that we say goodbye to our friend, family, and overall great person, Jorge Caicedo. Our bass player has passed away this morning with family by his side. We are devastated beyond belief. This past tour was bittersweet, but I'm glad I hung on to all the memories real tight. We all knew that he was struggling with, but kept his condition private. Watching him enjoy himself last year was a gift that I'm proud we were able to give him. I'll leave you with this image of Jorge chatting with RJ from Lewicidal Suicidal. He was so happy. That smile is how I will remember him from now on. R.I.P. brother Rene Palm." End quote. And then the aforementioned picture is inset in the story from Facebook. So if you guys want to check that out, or go to Flesh Parade's Facebook page, it's over there too.
Yeah.
So quick and to the point, but the cause of death is currently undisclosed, but Jorge was 54.
Okay. It's still 50s is still too because we're I'm 50 and you're creeping up on it, so it's kind of like you don't want to hear anybody like 50s is still
getting there.
Yeah. I mean at 80 I would be like
at
80 I'd be like it's kind of but 50s is still too young. So I mean 60s is still too young. I mean the thing like I say all the time, and I've said it before, is I always hate to see people that die like 62 or something like that. Like you worked your whole life to get to that point to retire and enjoy the rest of your life, and you don't get to. So it's very very unsettling, I would say. To me, it is anyway. It's kind of like if you think about it, like I don't know why they're trying to raise the retirement age, too. Because they've talked about that a few times. I would raise it to like 70 or something. I'm just like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? People are dying left and right in their 50s and 60s. Like, why the hell would you raise it? Like, you need to lower it if anything, so people can actually enjoy their fucking.
It's so they don't have to
pay their ass Social Security.
Yeah, so they don't have to pay Social Security. That's what it is. It's like if you die before you reach the age, then we get to keep all the money.
Yeah, which is bullshit. You should give my damn money back. So, anyway, over at Metal Hammer was a story that I was going to lead with, and I went too far down my page here. But one of the One of the most highly rated young rock bands in Britain have revealed that they are struggling to make ends meet despite having just played some of Europe's biggest venues. Manchester doom punk band Witch Fever, who recently completed an arena tour of Europe with Danish rockers Volbeat, claim they are broke, painting a depressing picture of the continuing struggles facing upcoming bands. Singer Amy Hope Walpole tells the 101 Part Time Job podcast, quote, so we're broke as fuck and we just did 2 months in arenas. We also can't get a job because we're back on tour in March, so nowhere will hire us. This is just crazy that this is what the music industry is like at the moment. I'm currently living off $4,000 of my late mother's pension that I got at the end of last year. That is obviously rapidly running out. So it's quite a depressing landscape at the moment, end quote. Bassist Alex Thompson adds, quote, we just got off tour with Volbeat. We just did 2 months in arenas and stadiums. You know, we played Wembley. We got to the end of it, and our profit is all stuck in withholding taxes across Europe, end quote. Witch Fever, who are signed in a subsidiary of Sony Music, are not the first band to be stung by the cost of touring in Europe and the difficulty of making money on the road. 2023, the Agonists canceled a string of summer European shows to avoid losing a dangerous amount of money. And we kind of know where the Agonist is now, so
Yep.
kind of not a good sign or anything. So I'm trying to figure out. So they can't get any of their profits. I don't
I don't know.
understand.
That's very strange. I don't.
Yeah, we need to talk to some people over there. Well, maybe we can ask that with our band coming up next week, so that maybe they'll have some insight on that. So,
Yeah.
not to get ahead of ourselves, but we do have a band coming on next week.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, that's a little strange, man. I don't know why you wouldn't be. I get maybe a holding or something, but why would you? I mean, you shouldn't be holding it for like months at a time. I mean, you should be like a week or two and then release it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. What the hell are you trying to do with it? Like,
It's shit. I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs of it because if I did, I'd probably be doing it for a living. But it sounds to me like they got like bad representation or something. Or
yeah, maybe, yeah, I'm not
something.
sure. Well, I mean, but being signed to Sony though, I mean, come on, dude. Like that's one of the biggest record labels there is. So I mean, I don't
That's
understand why
true.
they don't have representation trying to get them their money. That's kind of.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't like.
really, it should be a thing to where record labels be like, hey, if you don't make money, I don't make money. That's the way it should be. But
You would think.
but
Yeah.
that's not the way it usually is. It's usually
No.
Sony's worried about bigger fish, I'm sure. So
That might be part of it, unfortunately.
that's one of the reasons we talk about a lot of the record labels that we talk to are pretty small. I mean, they don't have 60, 70 bands on the thing, so it's kind of like they keep it 20, 30 where they can kind of keep up,
Manageable. Yes.
keep everybody working and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah. Everybody at the label has like 4 or 5 bands that they have to focus on. A much more manageable ratio. So
yeah.
yeah. All right. Let's see. Staying at the PRP for this next one. It's short, but short and sweet. So, the annual New England Metal and Hardcore Festival will be taking 2026 off. Organizers for the long-running festival took to social media on the 16th to issue the following statement regarding their planned absence this year. Quote, after a great run, we're taking 2026 off. This isn't goodbye. It's just a breather. Any MHF will return. Thank you for always showing up and making this festival what it is, end quote. Held yearly in Worcester, Mass., the New England Metal and Hardcore Festival began back in 1999. Its initial run persisted through 2016 before going on a 5-year hiatus that ended in 2023. So I would have liked for there to have been, kind of like, instead of, hey, we're just taking this week off, maybe, of course, I'm sure it's like everything else. I'm sure it's probably, financial. So, of course, at the same time, it who knows? It could be kind of the same thing like what happened with the Rock and Pod Expo. Maybe they're going through a little bit of a transition and who's running the whole thing. So it wouldn't be fair to speculate, but things are usually because of money. So
I think I touched. Was this a story that you had for last week? It didn't talk about it, or well, I mean, because you weren't on the show, that's why I'm asking. Because I went. Okay, I was just asking because it seemed like I've kind of mentioned it. I didn't go into a story, but I mentioned that on the show. And I can't remember if it was last week or not.
It's a possibility because I mean it was like the first story I had for this week, so maybe it was the
Okay,
first one I saw. Then it was
because I
early in the
did because you
so
sent me you
maybe.
sent me your stuff last week, and I kind of like I read my stuff, and then I kind of went over yours, short, kind of shortened it out, and
Maybe I did. Hold on,
so
let me go back.
I mean, it's fine either way. I mean, because
Maybe I did.
you actually did the whole story, and I didn't do that. So,
Okay.
but I just for some reason it just sounded familiar to me. I don't.
Well, let me like I say, I can't promise. Um, no, it
Okay.
wasn't. No, it
Okay.
wasn't actually.
All
No, it
right.
wasn't.
I don't know. For some reason, I feel like we
Yeah,
talked.
the only one that I held over from last week was Bob Weir passing
Yeah,
away, but
past one.
that was
Okay.
the only one.
Which I don't know if you've seen his picture at the airport. That shit was hilarious. Uh, we had like this dude pointing at something, and he put his crotch right where that dude's finger was.
Oh no, I hadn't seen that.
I mean, it was a recent picture. It was like 2 weeks before he passed away.
I
So
hadn't seen it. I'll see if I can
he
find
was
it. That's hilarious.
he was a funny dude, man. Uh, All right, my last one is over at Metal Injection. A growing coalition of musicians, actors, authors, and content creators has united behind a new campaign pushing back against the use of copyrighted works in artificial intelligence training models without permission. The initiative, titled Stealing Isn't Innovation, is being led by the Human Artistry Campaign and features a high profile list of supporters, including Scarlett Johansson, Kate Blanchett, REM, and bestselling author Brad Meltzer. The campaign rightfully argues that major tech companies are exploiting creative works to build AI platforms without authorization, threatening both copyright law and the future of human creativity. According to the campaign's website, some of the biggest tech companies, many backed by private equity and other funders, are using American creators' work to build AI platforms without authorization for or regard for copyright law. The group warns that this practice undermines the creative economy and places long term U.S. jobs, economic growth, and global cultural influence at risk. The Human Artistry Campaign includes dozens of influential industry organizations such as the RIAA, SAG AFTRA, the Recording Academy, and the Director Guilds of America. Notably absent from the list is Motion Picture Association. Uh, in a joint statement, the campaign described this situation as a massive ripoff, asserting that the unchecked use of copyrighted material in AI training erodes the very foundation of U.S.'s world-leading entertainment industry. The group argues that if AI developers are allowed to continue using protected works without licensing, creators may soon be able to afford producing original content as AI generated material increasingly competes with human made works. Per the Stealing Isn't Innovation website, quote, America's creative community is the envy of the world and creates jobs, economic growth, and exports. But rather than respect and protect its valuable asset, some of the biggest tech companies, many backed by private equity and other funders, they just said that, are using American creators' work to build AI platforms without authorization or regard for copyright law, which they just said that too. Uh, Artists, writers, creators of all kinds are banding together with a simple message. Stealing our work is not innovation. It is not progress. It's theft, plain and simple. A better way exists through licensing deals and partnerships. Some AI companies have taken the responsible, ethical route to obtaining the content and materials they wish to use. It is possible to have it all. We can have advanced, rapidly developing AI and ensure creators' rights are respected. End quote. The campaign is calling on AI companies to properly license copyrighted content used in their training data. While some agreements have emerged, including a recent deal between the Walt Disney Company and OpenAI for limited character usage, legal battles continue to mount. Disney has also sued Google, while Warner Brothers, Disney, and NBC Universal are among those pursuing litigation against Midjourney over alleged copyright violations. Senior advisor Moya McTeer explained that the campaign's branding, featuring visual static, is meant to symbolize a future stripped of originality and human expression. The static represents our future if we continue permitting AI developers to behave this way, bland and devoid of human activity, McTeer said. AI developers have consistently argued that using copyrighted material to train models constitutes fair use, a claim that sits at the heart of numerous ongoing lawsuits. As courts weigh these arguments, the Stealing is an Innovation campaign aims to apply public and political pressure through social media efforts and full page advertisements. So there you have it. So I think we talked. I think I talked about this before because being in the movie industry before, they they sent out a thing talking about all this, and there was like a big thing where they were striking and all this other stuff about over that. That's one of the things in the last writer's strike that got took off was they couldn't do anything AI
Mm-hmm.
to from like AI. They were like creating AI videos of certain sitcoms and stuff like that, and so they were saying, "Hey, you can't do that, man. That's our." It's like that's our stuff. Like you
Yeah.
know, I'm in that show and I didn't get any royalties from it, and I have a royalty contract with said company.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that fell, and then finally they passed that. So now they're just going to keep trying to find a way to come in the back door. I mean, that's just
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately that's the way it is. So
And it's just going to be fucking lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit.
well, I
It's
mean,
just,
it's going to have to be
it is
unfortunately
going to have to be.
to get anything fairly done about it. So I mean, they already have a AI actor they put an AI in every in movies, and I'm just like it comes to that. I'll just stop watching movies. I'm not going to lie. I don't care anymore. Like whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I mean, watching animated stuff is one thing because humans still
Well, yeah,
voice it over. So I mean,
exactly.
that's different. But I mean, if I'm watching something that I know has no human, creativity behind it, I'm not gonna fucking watch it. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but
It's
that's all I
bullshit.
had. Do you have
I
anything else? Or
I have one more.
okay,
All right, yeah. Going back to Blabbermouth for this one. The family of legendary English guitarist John Sykes, Tigers of Pantang, Thin Lizzy, Whitesnake, Blue Murder, and Sykes, has blasted Golden Robot Records over the Australian record label's recent announcement that it was planning to release a posthumous EP from Sykes. According to the label, this, quote, deeply special and historical release, unquote, which is expected to arrive later this year, will, quote, offer fans a powerful final chapter from one of rock's most revered guitarists, end quote. 2 days after a Golden Robot press release revealed plans for the EP, the following statement was shared via John's official website. Quote, in response to this year's recent press release from Golden Robot Records, we feel it is necessary to issue a statement on behalf of the estate of John Sykes. In 2019, John Sykes parted ways with Golden Robot Records following ongoing issues relating to contractual agreements. Since that time, neither John Sykes nor his estate has authorized, entered into, or agreed to any arrangement with Golden Robot Records for his unfinished material to be mastered, released, or distributed under their label. Given these circumstances, we are deeply concerned by the decision to proceed with such actions at a time when John is no longer able to represent or defend his own position. It is also notable that in the years following John's departure from the label, no public announcements or attempts were made to release this material while he was alive. In our view, these actions raise serious questions and feel profoundly disrespectful to John's legacy and to his immediate family, who are continuing to grieve and come to terms with the loss of a father, brother, and son, end quote. Sykes, who performed with Thin Lizzy and Whitesnake in the 80s, died following a battle with cancer. A January 2025 statement posted on his verified Facebook page. He was 65 years old. So, yes, I do believe that is okay. Hold on, there's more. I'm sorry. Sykes' partnership with the Australian company was first announced in January of 2019. At the time, John promised that his first album in 2 decades would arrive before the end of 2019. However, things apparently went south shortly after the signing, with Sykes later accusing the label of making, quote, little attempt to move things forward despite our best efforts and patience, end quote. Psyops was expected to include such other tracks as Believe in Yourself and My Guitar. Speaking to Reality Check TV at the January 2019 Hall of Heavy Metal History event in Anaheim, California, Sykes stated about his absence from the rock scene, quote, I'm looking forward to getting out on the road and playing again. I kind of go underground and stay there for a while. I don't know, man. Sometimes I just take off and shut it all down, but I'm getting the itch. I've been having the itch to get back out and play, so I'm looking forward to that. Asked about the musical direction of his new record, Sykes said, quote, it's kind of got flavors of old and new, but I think it'll be pleasing to a lot of people to hear it. I think it'll touch a fair few people if they check it out. It's a good, solid album. It's not just a couple of tracks and a load of fillers, end quote. So I would say that this is probably headed towards probably a round of litigation itself. You know, I'm sure his estate is going to be like, hold up, wait a minute, if they haven't done so already. And I kind of think to me, it sounds like they should. I think they have a case.
Yeah.
Just based on the details in the story, I'd say they probably have a good shot. So, I mean, if the estate can work something out with the label, I mean, it's like, hey, you know, you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. If we can, get this, we can get this music released and we can all make a little bit of money off of it. Who knows? But at the same time, if there's any sort of, declaration from John's side, it's like, hey, these were some of my, dying wishes or whatever, then the family should step in and be like, time out. So this one's probably going to be one of those that we hear about again. So I have a feeling.
All right. Other headlines then. Slipknot guitarist Jim Root walked away without injury after his off-road vehicle rolled over on a trail. Luckily for him that he wasn't injured. That was I don't know if you've seen the picture, but it was top of it was pretty smashed in.
After you sent me the clip of it, yeah. So I'm just hoping while he was driving, he wasn't pushing his fingers into his eyes. So
I know, right?
Hard to see when you're doing that. So.
Ex Fear Factory frontman Burton C. Bell is recording his solo album as we speak. So kind of interesting to see what comes out of that. New Seven Dust album 1 coming this May. So new Seven Dust coming. That's awesome. Pink Pop releases Cavalier Conspiracy's full 2008 performance. That's pretty cool. Official Billy Idol documentary, Billy Idol Should Be Dead, to get a 2026 theatrical release. That's pretty good to get put in theaters, which I need to look up and see if that Megadeth is showing.
We do need to do that. We need to check that out. I do know that Jet Jaguar went to see it because I saw it on their social media. They went to see it.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was cool.
Dave Mustaine's new memoir, In My Darkest Hours, written to recount his cancer battle.
Probably check that out.
Yeah, the Ballad of Judas Priest documentary to world premiere at Berlin International Film Festival.
Yep.
A lot of stuff on film-wise. It's pretty cool.
I know. I love that. I love that these heavy metal bands are getting this theatrical attention. I love it.
And have you watched that Into the Void yet? It's a series on Hulu.
No, I haven't.
That's pretty good.
I need to.
I'm 4 episodes into it. It's pretty interesting.
I need to.
I mean, a lot of it I knew, but then some of it I'm just like, oh wow, like
right.
Yeah, it's pretty wild stuff on there, man. It's like. Then we got Party Cannons to release their new EP on an N64 cartridge.
Yeah.
I
saw that. My cousin actually posted the story about it in the group. Yeah,
I remember saying I couldn't remember who posted it. But
yeah, it was my cousin. Yeah.
Matt Zane to self-fund unauthorized Wayne Static and Tara Ray documentary despite estate objections.
Yeah, that story just won't go away.
I mean, I don't know why they're trying to fight it because he had their permission to do it before they died. So, I mean, sorry, tough shit. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. I mean, Poison scrapped their 2026 40th anniversary tour because Bret Michaels wanted most of the money. Of course he did.
Big surprise. Yeah. I think Ricky Rocket said $6 to every one of theirs that he wanted.
Yeah, that's what.
This is bullshit, man.
Hair plugs are expensive, I guess. I don't know.
Fucking syphilis medicine doesn't cost that much.
I know, right? And plus, they just announced that insulin's going down again, so he don't need all.
That's right. Yes, I mean, yeah.
What you need that money for?
Bandanas.
Yeah, bandanas. Yeah. Trying to start another Rock of Love or something.
Oh, Jesus.
Metal fans are unlikely to cheat. Jazz fans are boning everyone, according to a study.
I saw that. Whether it's true or not, it was just a funny headline.
It was, yeah. We're here for clicks. So.
That's right.
Dave Mustaine says his relationship with Metallica is constantly improving, which I hope that kind of improves enough to where they can actually tour together on their last hoorah. That'd be cool.
Man, I was actually talking to a guy at work about that yesterday because I asked him. I said, "You going to listen to the new Megadeth that just came out today?" He's like, "Oh shit, did it come out today?" I said, "Yeah," and we got to talking about it, and I mentioned that Dave thought it would be a good idea for Metallica and Megadeth to tour. I said, "Dude, I'll said I'll remortgage my house." I said, "I don't give a shit." So,
Right? Yeah. Cash out some 401k or something for this shit.
it's something, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Ghost cancels three of their U.S. Skeletor concerts ahead of a impeding winter storm, which we're kind of in the middle of right now.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, we
I mean,
kind of didn't mention that we woke up to a white ground this morning, so
yeah, we
which is
did.
kind of it's our excuse me, it's our first kind of wintry event period this winter. So
Yeah.
Of
course, I don't know about over there on your side of town, but it doesn't look like it's snowing over here at the moment. But
I don't know. Okay, everything's dark in here, so
yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah.
At the moment, it doesn't look like it's snowing here, but
Well, it'll quit and then it comes back and it's like
it does.
It comes pouring, dude. It's like
It starts and stops. It starts and stops. Yeah.
It's supposed to be worse overnight tonight, from what I was understanding. So
Yeah, that's what I hear.
but anyway, I got to go to work regardless. So
Ugh.
yeah, Anthrax, Biohazard, Fozzy, King's X, Ministry, Armored Saint members to pay tribute to Dimebag at 2026 Dime Bash concert in Los Angeles. Which I'm kind of surprised they don't have that in Texas. That's just kind of strange for them to have it in LA.
Yeah.
They
do need to have it in Texas.
Yeah, it was kind of strange. David Ellefson to perform Megadeth's entire Countdown to Extinction album on March 2026 European Bass Warrior Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Torian says possibility of new music from Reunited Bullet Boys is definitely on the horizon. Pretty smooth up for them to do that.
Smooth up in you. Okay.
Stone Sour guitarist Josh Rand's The Life Project to release a full-length album in 2026. Their EP was actually pretty good that they released a couple of years ago. So
I know they're working on another one. Yeah,
kind of interesting to hear that.
That's good.
Cliff Burton's posthumous signature bass to be reissued by Area. I don't know how that. It's all capitals. So I'm guessing it's probably ARIA, but who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know much about the name brands anymore. So, back in the day, it was just Kramer and, Les Paul and
pretty much
Gibson. Yeah. It was like 3 or 4. That was it.
Yeah.
Kiss's Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons to be inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame because you can't have enough oohs.
No, you can't.
Oh, man. And then Megadeth Day proclaimed in the city of Laverne, Tennessee, which was kind of crazy to me that they did that in Laverne, but whatever. He actually has a house in Leiper's Fork, and their wine company is in Nashville. So why they did it in Laverne, I have no idea. But whatever.
Because why not?
I guess so. Yeah, I'm just going to leave a seed everywhere in Tennessee. I guess so.
Yeah.
But that was
that works for me.
That was all the headlines that I had. I don't know if you want to add anything to that or not.
That was just the last one was the one I was gonna, because originally I was gonna read it as a story, but most of the story was in the form of like a WKRN video. So I figured if you want to watch the video of the actual proclamation, you can. But yeah, I was just gonna make sure we mentioned it as a headline. So yeah, you're fine. All good, my man.
All right, we'll go over to Hitting the Road. I do have two to kind of take the pressure off Chris a little bit. But
okay.
Sepultura is celebrating Life Through Death Tour 2026 with Exodus, Biohazard, and Travel Gaze. That kicks off on April 29th at Montclair, New Jersey at the Wellmont Theater. And that will end on May 29th in Los Angeles, California at the Wiltern. They will be in Nashville on May 6th at the Brooklyn Bowl. Tickets are $52, by the way. If you need,
that's not bad.
If you need to know that, because
I kind of do need to know.
I already looked into it. So
I kind of do need to know.
And then Seven Dust will hit the road in April for a U.S. headlining tour supporting their 15th studio album, One, joined by Atreyu, Fire from the Gods, and more. That kicks off on April 16th in Carterville, Illinois, at the Walker's Bluff Casino Resort, and it actually ends on May 21st in Nashville at the Pinnacle.
That's right.
So pretty cool. They ended up. Nashville's got a special place, for LeJean. So he's always Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Seven Dust tour and he not come through here.
Yeah,
Just because that's he always says it's one of his favorite places, and I think he sincerely means that. So
yeah. I mean, May is going to be crazy because you have Sepultura and Exodus on the
mhm.
6th. You have Amon Amarth and Death Clock on the 10th, and then you have Seven Dust on the 21st.
Oh man,
And then that's
there's only two that I'm going caring about, and you're going to talk about one of them in a few, I'm sure. But
oh yeah,
the one you
yeah,
talked about in the Sepultura, so
yeah,
I'm not going to take anything away from you there. So I'll let you have
yeah.
it.
I do want to go see Amon Amarth though because I haven't seen them or Death Clock yet, so I do want to go to that one. But so we'll see how it goes. So for hitting the road for the 17th through the 23rd, leading over at the PRP.com. Jason already mentioned this tour, but he didn't mention the dates. The David Ellison Bass Warrior Tour coming up in March over in Europe with Mado as the opener, starting March 12th in Rome, Italy at Killjoy, finishing March 29th in Milan, Italy at Rock and Roll. I Hate God is going to Europe with Dwarves and Instant Ruin appearing at select dates, starting June 5th in Gdansk, Poland at the Mystic Festival. That's I Hate God only. Finishing July 5th in Treviso, Italy at Nomad featuring Dwarves. The last 10 seconds of life are going to be busy this year. They are currently out on the road with Left to Suffer, Your Spirit Dies, and Freak. That tour started last night in Winter Park, Florida at Conduit and will finish February 4th in Toronto at Garrison. Then they will be out with Left to Suffer, Larcenia Row, and Freak, starting February 5th in Detroit at Sanctuary, finishing February 22nd in Dallas, Texas at Puzzles Deep Ellum. Then they were going on a North American tour with Traitors and Nailed Shut, with the Crimson Armada and Flesh Prison appearing at select dates, starting April 2nd in Columbus, Ohio at Summit Music Hall, finishing April 16th in Cleveland, Ohio at the Foundry, featuring Crimson Armada. Nailed Shut will not be at that show. Kubla Khan, Texas has announced their European and UK festival run starting June 3rd in Gdansk, Poland at Mystic Festival, finishing June 27th in Helsinki, Finland at Tuska. Boar and Lost Become are going on an East Coast March mini tour. March 18th in Richmond, Virginia at Banditos. March 19th in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Milestone Club. March 20th in Belpre, Ohio at Bennett Tax Services. And March 21st in Erie, Pennsylvania at Bunker at Lavery's. Rivers of Nile and Queensryche are going on some European and UK shows. This is going to be scheduled around Queensryche's festival dates, which I will get to in a minute. Those shows will start June 12th in Cologne, Germany at Essig Fabric, finishing blah, 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 blah. July 2nd in Lindau, Germany at Club Vaudeville. Witchcraft is going on a West Coast tour in March, starting, I think I have the wrong finishing date. March 3rd in San Francisco at the Bottom of the Hill, and I believe the finishing date is actually March 9th, not March 6th, in Seattle, Washington at Substation. I think I had that last date wrong. Baroness has a trio of East Coast headlining shows coming up in March. March 6th in Philadelphia at Underground Arts. March 7th in Sayreville, New Jersey at the Starland Ballroom featuring Acid Bath and The Skull. And March 8th in Amityville, New York at the Amityville Music Hall. Then Static X and Dope are going out together, which of course they are. Starting March 8th in Daytona Beach, Florida at Welcome to Rockville, finishing August 9th in Billings, Montana at the Pub Station. Then Obscura is going to Australia and New Zealand with Fallujah, Ashen, and Anoxia appearing at select dates. Starting September 3rd in Perth, Australia at the Rosemount, finishing September 19th in Hobart, Australia at Altar. Fozzy, Spineshank, Flaw, and Who on Earth are going out in May, starting May 7th in Daytona, Florida at Welcome to Rockville, finishing May 16th in Flint, Michigan at the Machine Shop. Dogma and Frail are going on a U.S. tour. Who knows who's going to be in the lineup for Dogma at this point? Starting March 15th in Seattle, Washington at the Substation, finishing April 3rd in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Kung Fu Necktie. Architects and Holy Water are going on a U.S. tour starting April 28th in Reno, Nevada at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino, finishing May 16th in Columbus, Ohio at Sonic Temple. 6 Feet Under and Embryonic Autopsy, who is appearing at select dates, are going to Europe starting June 3rd in Gdansk, Poland at the Mystic Festival, finishing June 27th in Hauteville, Switzerland at the Abyss Festival. Then Thursday and Chris Conley are going out in April, starting April 1st in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Union Transfer, finishing April 30th in Boston at the Paradise Rock Club. Fit for a King, Invent, Animate, 1056, and Acres are going on a North American tour starting May 1st in Minneapolis, Minnesota, if the city is still standing by then, at the Fillmore, finishing May 31st in Lexington, Kentucky at the Manchester Music Hall. The only Tennessee date is May 19th in Knoxville at the Mill and Mine. Dark Tranquility, Soen, and Persephone are going on a North American tour starting March 27th in Joliet, Illinois at The Forge, finishing April 25th in Detroit at St. Andrews Hall. Alpha Wolf, Gideon, Mugshot, and Resolve are going on a North American tour starting May 6th in Atlanta, Georgia at Masquerade, finishing June 6th in Pomona, California at the Glass House. They will be in Nashville on May 10th at Brooklyn Bowl. In Flames, Throne, Distant, and Upon the Stone have a May mini tour coming up. In May 9th, Little Rock, Arkansas at the Hall with Throne and Distant will not be at that show. They will also not be at the May 10th Kansas City show at Harrah's Casino. May 12th in Milwaukee at the Rave. May 13th in East Moline, Illinois at the Rust Belt. May 15th in Indianapolis at the Egyptian Room. And then May 16th in London, Ontario at the London Music Hall. Polka Dot Cadaver and the Angry Tunes are going on a Western U.S. tour starting June 6th at Milwaukee Metal Fest. That's Polka Dot Cadaver only. Finishing June 20th in L.A. at the Redwood Bar. Demon Hunter, Convictions, and Cultist are going on a U.S. tour starting April 24th in Little Rock, Arkansas at The Hall, finishing May 17th in Columbus, Ohio at Sonic Temple. That's Demon Hunter only. The only Tennessee date is May 13th in Knoxville at the Mill and Mine. Poison the Well and Converge are going on a North American tour with Spy, Balmora, The Armed, and the Barbarians of California appearing at select dates on varying lineups, starting April 2nd in Cleveland, Ohio at the House of Blues, finishing May 17th in San Francisco at the Regency Ballroom. Corrosion of Conformity is going out on tour with Horrors, Crowbot, Clutch, and J.D. Pincus appearing at select dates on varying lineups, starting April 7th in Atlanta, Georgia at the Masquerade, finishing May 16th in New Orleans at La Tipitinas. They will be in Nashville on May 15th at Cannery Hall. Primus, the Claypool, Lennon Delirium, and Les Claypool's Fearless Flying Frog Brigade are going out. That's, all Les Claypool bands. Starting May 20th in Reno, Nevada at the Reno Event Center, finishing July 4th in Napa, California at the Meritage Resort and Spa. The only Tennessee date is June 5th in Pelham, Tennessee at the Caverns Outdoor Amphitheater. They won't be inside at the cave. They will be out. They will be at the outdoor venue, which I have also seen, and it looks pretty nice. Lorna Shore, Paleface Swiss, and Signs of the Swarm are going out in North America starting April 17th in Buffalo, New York at Buffalo River Works, finishing May 22nd in Montclair, New Jersey at the Wellmont Theater. The only Tennessee date is May 6th in Memphis, Tennessee at the Graceland Soundstage. Then over at Blabbermouth, the aforementioned Queensryche Festival run starting June 12th in Leeuwarden, Netherlands at Into the Grave, finishing January 5th in Parque El Batel, Cartagena, Spain at Rock Imperium Festival. Then Paul Bearer and Noel, who will be appearing at select dates, are going out to North America starting February 19th in Oklahoma City at the Resonant Head, finishing April 23rd in Knoxville at the Pilot Light. That is the only Tennessee date. Then Sugar is going on a world tour starting May 2nd in New York at the Webster Hall, finishing October 24th in Athens, Georgia at the Georgia Theater. They will be in Nashville on October 21st at the Brooklyn Bowl. And last, but far from least, Onslaught and Warlord are going on a North American tour, which, strangely enough, Warlord has been around for 45 years and has never toured North America, even though they are an LA-based heavy metal band.
What?
They have never toured North America in 45
That
years.
is crazy. And they're based out of LA?
Based out of LA, and they have never toured North America.
That's crazy.
That was bonkers. I was like, I gotta make sure to mention that, because that is absolutely insane.
That's unreal, dude.
Yeah. The tour starts March 18th in Houston, Texas at Hell's Heroes and finishes April 12th in Atlanta at the Masquerade. They will be in Tennessee April 10th in Murfreesboro at Hop Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, because obviously Onslaught posted this over on their Facebook page, and people were making comments about, well, why aren't you coming here and why aren't you coming there? Well, Nige was responding personally to some of these comments, and like, next leg of the tour, mate. Next leg of the tour. So apparently this isn't this. These are not the only tour dates.
Ah,
So
so they're
this is
coming
like
back.
leg. This is like leg one. So there
Oh,
there will be
nice.
more tour dates according to Nige. So that's good.
Mm.
But that should be a show that we have to go see.
Right.
How do we not go see Onslaught?
Yeah, we got to.
We have to. And I looked. April 10th is a Friday.
Nice.
But that is hitting the road for the 17th through the 23rd.
Awesome. Yeah, you got some good shows coming up, man. Like,
I know. That's what I'm
Like-
saying. It
like,
was quantity and quality.
I told Susie, I said, man, I gotta stop looking at this shit, man. I can't afford all this stuff right now.
I know.
We got like a $10,000 trip coming up. Like, Jesus.
Well, and here's the funny thing. Here's a couple of shows that we haven't mentioned. Valkyrie's Fire and Halo Scars are going to be in Nashville at the Cobra in February.
Yeah.
And then Valkyrie's Fire and Ash's Reign are going to be in Nashville. I can't remember the venue. Might be the Cobra. Are going to be in Nashville in March.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
Definitely, I see the Halo Scars and Valkyries one for sure. And I wouldn't mind talking to Vinny and them from Asher's Reign again. So.
Yeah. And speaking of our friends in Valkyrie's Fire, they posted this week that their new LP is coming out this year. Not an EP.
Right.
A 13-track LP is coming out this year. So
Nice.
looking forward to that from them.
So we'll probably be talking to them again. So.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, guys. That will take us into our theme of the week. Since we kind of had this one planned for last week, but seeing as Chris wasn't on the show, I was like, well, ain't no sense in doing my half of it without your half. So.
That's right.
So carried this one over from last week. Theme of the week, first and last, which was kind of surprised we haven't done that before.
You know what? I felt the same way because I actually went back and looked. I was like, how the hell have we not done this yet? We haven't.
Yeah, I know.
We have not done it.
Like I looked up, I was like, well, maybe it was before, I started getting involved with, adding to the playlist or something, but
nope.
No. So it wasn't on my playlist at all. I'm just like, wow. I said, well, if it is, it's been long enough till we can do it again. So
right. Yeah.
So
and you and I have already talked about this once. I mean, we've got playlists going back to 2022. So I mean, we've got 4 years of brand new music that we can listen to. So I mean, there's no reason why we can't. We already did Metal 2.0. There's no reason why we can't do a 2.0 of some of these other ones.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been crazy. Like, I mean, just think this is what you're saying. It's been 4 years and we've never did this one, which is pretty wild.
That is weird. Well, and the funny thing is, I think it took us over a year to actually do the first metal playlist. The one strictly about metal. Yeah. I think it took us over a year to even finally decide to do that one.
Yeah. All right, I got the first part of this theme here.
Literally,
so
you literally have the first part.
Yeah. So my first one was God Slave, Final Chapters First. That was from the Positive Aggressive album in 2021, which was a great album.
And not for nothing, but you got both sides of that one there. So
I do, yeah. Final and first. Yeah.
Nice.
Next one I had Sentenced, I'll Throw the First Rock from Down 1997. Then I got Contortion, Face First from Thrash Metal Domination 2019. Then I went with Arch Enemy, First Day in Hell from Will to Power 2017. And then with Lightworker, First Light from the Lightworker self-titled album in 2024.
Nice.
Motionless in White, Puppets, The First Show from Creatures 2010. And I got Clay and Fire, Feet First into Hell from Cultivation 2025, which that's the only reason I included it because it was a newer release and I actually remembered it. So Overkill's Head First from Under the Influence 1988. Yep. Evil First Blood from Enter the Grave 2007. Then I had Seaside Massacre First Blood. That was a single in 2025. Hopefully that album comes out this year because that single's pretty good. So. Then I got Chaosium, First Step into Hell from First Step to Hell, or First Step to Hell, sorry, from First Step to Hell 2018. Then I got Amon Amarth, First Kill from Yams Viking 2016. Maniac Abductor, First World Disease from Casualties of Causality 2019. That was a tongue twister.
Yeah, it was.
Then I got Testament, First Strike is Deadly from the Legacy 1987. I got Make Them Suffer, the First Movement from Worlds Apart in 2017. And we came as Romans, cast the first stone, understanding from understanding what we've grown to be. 2013. That's a hell of a damn album name, Jesus. Uh, then I got Artillery, equal at first from By Inheritance, 1990. And then I got Civil War, First to Fight, from the Killer Angels album in 2013. And then last but not least, I got Adept, First Round, First Minute. We got a double one there.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
Steelers 2011. So
Nice. Very nice. All right. Well, I have the last part of
that's right.
have the last part of this segment here, leading off with "Last Man Standing" by Hammerfall off of "Steel Meets Steel: 10 Years of Glory" from 2007. Then I have "Neverlasting" by Sentenced off the "Cold White Light" from 2002. My
Getting some
last
love this week.
My Last Serenade by Killswitch Engage off of Live or Just Breathing from 2002. And speaking of Sentenced, man, I wish they were still around.
I know.
Yeah. Then It Won't Last Forever by Bark off of Written in Stone from 2020. Then I had Last Fight by Ectomorph off Redemption from 2010. Last Hell Riders by Hammer King off King is Rising off of from 2016. Then I had Last Breath by Lazarus AD from the Onslaught from 2007. The Last Rager by Municipal Waste off the EP of the same name from 2019. Then I had Last Rites by Trauma off As the World Dies from 2018. Then I had The Last Stand of Frey by Amon Amarth, also from Yam's Viking from 2016. Then I had Last Man Standing from our friends over at Anger Machine from their Unbreakable EP from 2016. Then I had Last Man Standing by Overkill off the Wings of War, and for some dumbass reason, I didn't write the year down. Can't remember. One Last Time by Arch Enemy off Deceivers from 2022. Last Train Home by Armored Saint off Symbol of Salvation from 1991. Last One Standing by Avatar off Thoughts of No Tomorrow from 2006. My Last Rite from Crimson Day, which is the first band from our friend Lassie Landstrom from off of At the Mountains of Madness from 2018. Hope Dies Last by Destruction of Diabolical from 2022. The Last in Line by Dio off the album of the same name from 1984. Taking Your Last Breath by Dustbolt off Mass Confusion from 2016. My Last Nerve by Exodus from Blood In, Blood Out from 2014. Last Before the End from our friends Game Over off of Claiming Supremacy from 2017. The Last Life to Live from our friends in Elevate off Weapons Against Their Will from 2016. Last Stand for Independence by Testament off Dark Roots of Earth from 2012. The Last Stand from Sabaton off the album with the same name from 2016. And lastly, The Last Note from Megadeth off the album that came out yesterday. So
nice. That was since you brought that up, we'll talk about that just a little bit, like because we're about to go into album reviews anyway.
Yeah,
I know we kind of message back and forth about the Megadeth record, but like this, when I was listening to it, like I actually listened to it first pass, like because I kind of had a sense already from some of the reviews that some of the other places have done, because they actually got it like kind of like we do in our inbox. They got it first and got to listen to it, but man, like if you listen to it, like listen to it, like lyrically, it tells like the life of Dave Mustaine. Like it was just like, man, this is so crazy. Like, it almost kind of reminded me of the Testament record, where you had like a song from every Testament album. Like it was almost included in every song. It's kind of like, wow, this is crazy. But listening to that, I'm just like listening to it like lyrically wise. I'm just like, dude, he's really telling a fucking story here. It's just crazy that's how it is. And I do like the fact that they kind of like toned him down a little bit, because his voice isn't what it used to be, of course, but they made it work so well, I think, with not overpowering him with these crazy guitar solos and licks and stuff, which they do have some great stuff on there, but I'm just saying it wasn't overpowering. But I mean, I thought it was very, probably one of my favorite Megadeth albums in a while. I mean, and I liked the last one too. So I mean, it's kind of
I agree. I do. I agree.
And I will say this: the Ride the Lightning one, I wasn't
It
too
was
crazy
I
about.
didn't
But
I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. So I
exactly,
mean,
yeah. But I
so I
mean,
mean,
he probably wrote it, so I mean, he can do what he wants to with it.
yeah.
But
Well, I mean, he did. So I mean, that's why. So I mean,
yeah,
but so I and that's why when I texted you yesterday, when I told you, about it, I was keeping the cover separate from it because we knew it was a bonus track. So I mean,
right.
I was just talking about like the 10 original tracks because I mean,
Hmm.
we all knew about the singles that came out ahead of time.
Hmm.
And the funny thing was is they released Puppet Parade, earlier this week, but
Yep.
I didn't listen to it when
Oh,
it
okay.
came out. I didn't listen to it when I came out, and I didn't listen to it when it came out on purpose because like, all right, you know what? I know it's 10 tracks and I've already heard 30% of it. I don't want to
Hmm.
hear another single before the album comes out. So I did. I avoided Puppet Parade on purpose. I was like, all right, look, it comes out in like 4 days. I can wait 4 days to hear this other song.
Hmm.
So I listened to the other ones. I was like, it's shaping up to be a phenomenal album. And I listened to it, obviously Puppet Parade was track
Hmm.
4, I believe, track 4 or 5. But I listened to it 3 times just yesterday. Cause like the first time I listened to it, it's like, all right, I want to listen to it and just see how I initially feel about it. And then because my first instinct was like, holy shit, this is just, right
Hmm.
there. And then, all right, let me listen to it again. And then let me listen to it try to listen to it with a more critical ear.
Hmm.
And then, I listened to it for the third time because I wanted to see if some of the quote unquote the B-side songs, the songs we didn't get to hear ahead of the
Right.
album, because you had 4 singles and then 6 tracks that you didn't get to hear until the album dropped. And while those aren't all quote unquote B-sides, that's kind of the way I was seeing it, because I already knew the songs that I heard ahead of time,
Hmm.
Tipping Point, I Don't Care, and Let There Be Shred. I thought those were three bangers right off the top.
Hmm.
You know, then I heard Puppet Parade for the first time. I was like, all right, that was an awesome song. I understand why they would have had that be the fourth single. So I had
Hmm.
6 other songs that I had just discovered yesterday. It's like, let me listen to it this third time and let me see if these other 6 songs, if some of them kind of like fall by the wayside. It's like, all right, I could kind of do without that one. I could kind of do without that one. Because when The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead came out, that album ended up being one of my top 10 albums of the year that
Hmm.
year.
Oh yeah.
But, a couple of the songs at the end of that album, like Police Truck was like,
Right.
but so on my third pass through the album, I was kind of like, all right, which one of these songs is going to end up being like this album's Police Truck? And I could personally, obviously just speaking for me, not you or anybody else, I couldn't find one.
No, I don't
So
think
I was
there.
like,
I
so,
don't
so
think
I was
there
like,
is there's a song kind of like that on this one. I don't
so
think
so
so.
that's when I texted you after listening to it. I was like, I'm having a hard time talking myself out of giving it this rating. I was like, I can't really
Hmm.
find a song that if I keep listening to it, I think I could just like end up not disliking, but a song that I could like do without or maybe like kind of just pass it over if I had to. And
Hmm.
the funny thing is there wasn't a song on this album that did that for me after 3 full listens all the way through. And I'm because the funny thing was is like track 3 or 4, Hey God, that track Hey God,
Yeah.
I liked that song because some of the lyrics are like, "Hey, I know I've been
Hmm.
away for a while, and and stuff like that, and that's my fault, and I apologize for kind of like turning my back." This isn't verbatim, word for word, or anything, but
Right.
this is
Right.
just
Right.
kind of like, I don't want anybody to think I'm like citing the lyrics or anything, but the message was, "Hey, I know I kind of went away for a while." I said, "I'm sorry about that," but
Well,
and so I liked that.
I kind of got the feeling that was maybe around kind of like around his cancer diagnosis, probably.
Probably, yeah, probably.
Just the way that it was written, I kind of like, man, that's probably why he kind of included that because I bet he was feeling that way around that time. It's like, is this my punishment for not being, not being faithful to you or whatever? So, because I mean,
Yeah,
who knows how people feel about religion? I mean, everybody has their own. That's why it's called faith because everybody has their own. So,
right.
so,
Yeah. So
but
I
yeah,
mean,
I think like a lot of those, like, I mean, Let There Be Shred and all that stuff. Of course, like I said, we've heard that. Tipping Point may still be my favorite off this album, but honestly, but
man,
that's
well, see, that's the funny thing is like, when at the beginning of the year when we were doing our 2025 year in review, I even said I could have taken any of the three singles and I probably
Hmm.
could have picked any. I think any of the three could have been my. I went with Tipping Point because that was the one that they released first, so that was kind of like the baseline of what we knew this new album was going to be. But Tipping Point, I don't care. Let There Be Shred. I don't feel like I could have gone wrong. But when I listened to Puppet Parade, I was like, fuck, if this single would have come out at the end of 2025,
2025, yeah.
that would have made it so much
Yeah.
harder because I mean,
Yeah.
Puppet Parade is an awesome song. Like I say, Hey God, you could tell it was a much more personal song.
Mhm.
And then, let's see, what about Another Bad Day? Hell, shit, we've all had those. And then Made to Kill, Obey the Call, I Am War. I mean, like I say,
And then for them to end it with the last note though was
I,
just kind of, I was like,
oh,
man,
it
it
was
was so
perfect.
like it just hit me in the feels when I was
Oh,
like, oh
I
wow,
know
this is crazy.
it was because I mean,
It
you know,
very well is the last
it,
note. I mean,
and it gave you that sense of finality
mhm.
and everything. And I mean, just the way that it was just him doing the spoken word part at the end with the
Mhm.
acoustic guitar. I think that was the perfect way to end it.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Because because the way the band started, he got fired from Metallica. We all know this by now. He got fired from Metallica, and he was just like, he started Megadeth out of just the, well, what do I do now? Just the
Mhm.
sense of isolation he probably had when he started the band, and then so to finish his career that way, where it was just him and a guitar, I think it was perfect. No
Mhm.
disrespect to any of the guys in the band, of course, but I mean, of course, the funny thing is none of the guys who are in the band now were there when the band started. So
Exactly. Yeah.
for it just to be, all right, I started this band by myself. I'm gonna end the band by myself.
Mhm.
I thought it was like
That's true.
I thought it was perfect, kind of like full circle poetic
Basically, yeah.
justice, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, I think it was a very fitting end. And the funny thing is that song isn't like a ballad all the way through. Starts off
Mhm.
kind of, it's got spoken word at the beginning, spoken word at the
Mhm.
end, but it's not a ballad. It's not a
No.
ballad at all. It's still a heavy song. It's just bookended by just spoken word elements from Dave. But I mean, I thought it was a fantastic way to end the studio album career.
Mhm.
And I decided that I'm not going to talk myself out of it. I'm actually going to give the album 5 horns because
Oh
I
wow.
listened to it 3 times. I listened to it 3 times and I couldn't find I and of course, I've been reading comments on, social media about it, and there are people who don't agree with me, and that's fine. I don't care.
Mhm.
It's whatever. Some people were like, "Oh, that song was ass," and what I mean, to each their own. I
Would you
listened
feel
to it.
good? It's like somebody else. They were talking about that on like one of those like Loudwire or whatever. Since somebody commented on there and said, "You do know these guys are like '60s and it's not 1983.
Mhm.
They're not going to sound like Rust in Peace, dude. It's not happening."
Yeah, yeah, and to echo what you said earlier, what I noticed on this album is kind of what I noticed on The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, and Dystopia, talking about how they were recording songs to Dave's limitations, whether it be
Mhm.
vocally or musically or whatever. Because I mean, obviously, team, Chris Broderick and Kiko Loureiro and Timo Mantasari, they're the lead guitarists now. You pick an
Mhm.
album, and Dave wasn't the lead guitarist anymore.
Right.
He still had his points to play his solos, but
Mhm.
Broderick and Loureiro and Mantasari, they were the ones doing the lion's share of the
Oh
shredding.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Well, it makes
every
sense now too with him coming out with his hand
with his hand
diagnosis.
thing, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
So the last three albums, as far as I was concerned, were composed with Dave's limitations
mhm.
in mind.
Yeah.
Because we've joked about it before, but Dave's never made any bones. He's like, I'm not a good singer. So but at the same time, as he got older, his range got lower and lower and lower, and you can tell in the lyrical content
Mhm.
of the way that he would sing. And
So,
even
so one thing I always hated about people saying stuff like that, and even like him saying about himself, saying I'm not a good singer. Okay, well, first off, metal was never about being a good singer.
well, that's true. That is true.
If you go back and look at Exodus, I mean, Steve Souza, I mean, like, he's not. he's not the greatest fucking singer out there, but he had a unique voice.
Yeah.
Like, and I think Dave had that unique growl and stuff that made it work. I mean, is James Hetfield a great singer? No, I mean he's mediocre at best, but I mean he does what he does, but and it works with what they're doing musical composition wise.
Yeah.
So
And we all know what James Hetfield response would be to that question. Yeah.
yeah, right.
Is James Hetfield a great singer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean everybody can't be Jeff Tate and John Bush and Howard
No.
Jones. I mean it's not happening, dude. It's like
No.
especially
especially
if you look back at early Slayer. I mean that stuff wasn't no vocal
No.
no vocal focus on any of that stuff. I mean it was like how fast can we fucking play? It was like,
And not for nothing, but even in like Slayer's absolute heyday, Tom Araya didn't exactly have a whole lot of
no, he didn't have
range and pitch change in his voice anyway.
right.
So, I mean,
yeah.
yes, I mean,
I can't do that shit, but it's still funny.
no.
Like it almost
Hey,
it almost sounded like he stubbed his toe on an amp coming out or something.
Yeah. And hey, we saw it louder than life. He can still hit the opening.
Oh
to Angel
yeah,
of
for
Death.
sure. Yeah,
He can still hit it.
yeah, yeah. But I'm just saying, like for them to be that hard on themselves, kind of like pisses me off sometimes. Like, man, quit being so hard on yourself. Like it's not, you did what you did and it worked. I mean,
that's all you can ask for.
There's no way you make 18 albums and it not work. I mean,
right.
you know,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
it has to work. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, and it's not every time that we do these things. It's not like, oh man, this dude's got some range. I mean, we don't say that on every album review because every singer does not have the range. I mean, do they have what they
Right.
do they have like a sound that fits in with what they're doing musically? Yes, they do, but it's not meant to be Queensryche or any of those other bands we just talked about. So
right. And if everybody was able to sing all the same in all the same style, it'd be boring as fuck anyway.
right. And of course, I'll say that because I probably shouldn't because Queensryche's not really a thrash band, but they're more power metal anyway. So that's more, like I said,
Right.
thrash was never made to be the focal point of vocals. I mean, it was always how fast can you play.
Yeah.
That's why they got power metal and stuff because then that way you can focus on vocals.
Yeah. When it came more to the singer, it was actually like how pissed off can the lyrics be, not necessarily
Exactly.
not necessarily how he sounded when he was singing them. So yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right, so I actually gave the Megadeth album 4.5, so I was pretty close to you. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, that there was a couple like I said, the Ride the Lightning thing kind of it's okay, but it's not
Yeah.
But like you said, even with that, I think the I Don't Care song just never really like the lyrics were fine. I don't know, for some reason there's something about the composition that's a little off to me, but I don't know. Maybe it'll by the end of the year it'll grow on me and I'll change it, but who knows?
I can kind of understand why you would say that, because even when it first came out as a single, a lot of people were like, okay, I'm okay with the tempo, but it's got more of a punk feel than a lot of other Megadeth shit.
That's probably right. Yeah,
I can understand that. I can.
But other than that, I mean, I'm not saying I hate the song. I like the song. It's just
No, you're right.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
I mean,
it's if you had to pick like one, like if you
right.
had to pick one thing, I get it. And see, that's the thing is like, I still like.
you just couldn't find that one thing that you didn't like.
I couldn't find because I didn't even mind that aspect of that song because he kept it to just the one song, and it kind of fit with the attitude of the song.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
It's kind of crazy to think we're almost at the end of January, and there's really not been no heavy hitter, not really no competition with the heavy hitters yet.
No,
we had the Creator album last week, which I thought was phenomenal. That's
it was very good.
That's probably one of my favorite albums so far. So,
yeah.
And then of course you had the Megadeth this week, which that's going to be two that's going to be.
Hard
I mean,
to
we're probably going to be talking about those in December. I mean, we probably are. Let's face it. I mean, it's just
because the funny thing is like what you just talked about. I'm looking at my list. I on January. Here we are, January 24th. I have already listened to 51 albums
Wow.
and 51 albums and 19 EPs already.
Damn. Yeah, it must be nice.
Well,
Although you did tell me I haven't missed a lot, so,
really, you haven't.
uh,
You really, and that sucks. And
it
it does.
does.
It sucks. But
But that's
you know,
just that's just your opinion too, though. So I mean, it's kind of
it is. Yeah. So I mean, it is just my opinion. So
there's gonna be some people out there that's like, oh man, you're crazy. I said the album was great.
and see, that's fine. That's what's great about the subjective ear.
Yep.
Because like I say, there was like I was reading, because everyone, Metal Hammer and Metal Sucks and Loudwire were like, okay, what does everybody think about the Megadeth album? And a lot of people were like, it sucks. And I was like, okay, I mean that's you, my dude. So hey, I'm not taking anything away from anybody's opinion.
Those are the
I'm
people
not-
that go to ghost shows though, so you can't.
well, sleep token rules.
In their mind, they do. Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess that will lead us into album reviews since we're kind of already talking about the Megadeth one. So we'll talk about the ones that you probably don't know about. So this week we kind of kept a theme and we didn't mean to, but I actually I did, but
well, I actually I realized that last night because I was finishing up everything for the show, but I was also kind of working ahead to this Wednesday on the Metalhead Minute, and I was like, man, death is really a predominant theme this week.
Right.
We had the 3 death notices, and then what we're about to talk about with the album reviews. I was like, we can keeping it a little on the dark side this week.
Yeah, right, a little morbid.
Yeah.
Oh man. So anyway, the album I chose this week was Death Razor, Forged in Hatred. Death Razor is a thrash metal band hailing from, and I'm going to kill this name, but I'm going to try, Leopoldina, Minas Gerais, Brazil. Hopefully I'm close.
All right.
Leopoldina, Minas Gerais. Is that better? No Espanol, sorry. But
well, they actually don't speak Spanish in Brazil either. They speak
that's
Portuguese.
true. Yeah, they're Portuguese. Yep, you're right. So they call Brazil nuts there. They just call them nuts.
They do.
They were formed in 2006 as Merciless and then changed their name to Death Razor in 2009. So, and this is going to be a crazy part with the current members. They only have one name listed, so I'm not sure if that's just a stage thing that they do. But you got Junior on bass, William on drums, Ramon on guitars, and Thiago on vocals and guitars. So the cool thing about this band is those are all the original members.
Oh no shit!
Which is pretty wild to be.
Yeah, it is.
They haven't, but this is only their second full length release, so they haven't really put out a lot in that time frame for some reason. I don't know. It's like one of the reasons I talked to you about. I may try to get them on the show to kind of. There's a lot of questions I have. I'll put it that way.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Anyway, it's 9 songs, 34 minutes and 11 seconds in length. This is going to be an old school thrash record that I've probably ever heard in this century. Or in this decade, I guess I should say, not century, but decade. I'll get it right in a minute. This decade, you don't hear this old school thrash sound a lot. And like, to me, it was just like, if I could see this definitely being on a Headbangers Ball back in the day.
Nice.
Just more of a, vocals were that old school Exodus thrash style, kind of. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't nothing flashy. It was just that dark and kind of gritty style vocal that thrash was, and maybe with a hint of some Warbringer in there, kind of trying to make it kind of a newer, kind of a more recent, I guess, comparison. But recording wise would be the difference with Warbringer, and of course, I'm sure Warbringer has a lot more money to record. But as always, it's a thrash band, so guitars were on point. Had some great solos. Some of the change ups were pretty impressive. Lots of double bass drum. The only issue that I would probably have with this album was some of the songs didn't seem to change enough with tempo to depict that one from another. I guess.
Oh, yep, no, yeah, you
So
get
that I mean, you could tell like eventually you're like, okay, that was a little bit of a different lick than earlier, but still, I could have got halfway through this song thinking I was still listening to the other one. So,
yeah,
so
you get the run on sentence going on.
yeah, and that's
Yeah,
that's kind of the only thing that I kind of really had the issue with. And so this is the thing, they had like an instrumental on this album that was like 4 minutes and something. I thought that was really, you know, it kind of gave you that thrash feel. You know what I mean? You got 9 songs, one
right.
of them's an instrumental, so it's kind of like the old school fucking, uh, uh, Metallica and stuff like that.
Sure.
So overall, I'm gonna give it 3.5 horns, but it wasn't too bad though.
Nice. Very nice. All right. Well, that brings us to mine. This week, I listened to the new album "Reign of Steel" by Death Dealer. They are a power metal band formed in Encinitas, California, in 2012. Their lyrical themes are war, death, killing, history, fantasy, occult, hell, and metal. They're currently signed to Massacre Records. This is one that we actually got in our inbox. So I did listen to. There was a single that I listened to. I can't remember which song it was. I'd have to go look. But and I have actually I went back into our inbox to make sure that this was the same album I was thinking of, and it is. This is the album. This is the. Let me back up just a little bit. The band is a 5-piece. It's kind of like an all-star cast going on here. 3 original members: Stu Marshall on guitar, Ross the Boss,
Oh yeah,
on guitar, Sean Peck on vocals, Steve Bolognese on drums, and Mike LaPond on bass. And Mike LaPond has been in like everything. Holy shit, has he been in everything? Good
I know.
lord. But so quite the lineup. Like I say, Stu, Ross, and Sean are original members. Um, when Ross, when Ross the Boss wasn't doing stuff in Manowar,
Right,
or his solo
Ross
project.
the Boss, yeah.
Yeah, his solo project, which not for nothing, but let's see, Steve. So you got Ross, Steve, and Mike were in Ross's uh,
Solo.
his solo album, his
Okay.
solo project also. This is the band's 4th full-length album. Their debut, War Master, came out in 2013, leading up to Reign of Steel yesterday. The album is 10 tracks long, 44 minutes and 37 seconds, so not too short, not too long. Um, there was what I liked about the album is, the guitar work was exceptional. I mean, when you got dueling guitars in a power metal band, it's usually a pretty good recipe for success. And especially when you got Ross the Boss involved, I mean, you're already got a huge leg up, as far as the guitars are concerned. And then, with Stu Marshall, also playing with Ronnie Monroe, probably a pretty good name to vouch for your guitar playing. So you got those 2 guys playing guitar for you, you're probably in pretty decent shape. And there's a lot of different vocal styles from Sean on this album. It's ridiculous. At one point, he sounds like Bobby Ellsworth from Overkill. At another point, he sounds like he could have sang in the Ripper era of Iced Earth, and then at the same time, he could have sang in the Stu Block era of Iced Earth. I mean, but there's a
Damn.
lot of there's a lot of different vocal layering that goes on too. So you got some different vocal effects and stuff like that. I don't know how well that translates to live shows, because I don't know if any of the other guys can really back him up with a lot of his stuff, because he does have a hell of a range, Sean. A lot of double bass work on the drums, which kind of fits, with Death Dealer, Reign of Steel. It kind of gives you, kind of gives you the art, especially with some of the songs on the album. You got Bloodbath, Blast the Highway, which is more of like kind of like a Turbo Lover kind of driving song, like headed, headed out to the highway kind of a feel to it, even though it's a lot faster tempo. But Dragon of Algaroth, Reign of the Night, some songs in keeping with the war theme. So the double bass drum kind of gives you the feeling of like heavy artillery fire, stuff like that. So it kind of fits, which is nice. But they did throw, as a lot of power metal bands are apt to do, they did throw in a power ballad, Raging Wild and Free at track 5, right in the middle. So it's kind of nice. And then I tell you what, I don't know how the hell Sean did it, but the length of the scream that he came out with in track number 8, I need to go back and time it, because I didn't know a human being could hold a note that long, let alone, have enough wind to get it. So, geez, it was insane. I've listened to the album all the way through twice now, and I should have like started counting how long he held that scream, but it was insane. And I'm talking about hitting it and fucking holding it. I mean, he got way the hell up there and just held it, and right there at the end, he went a little higher. I was like, how did you do that? So yeah, crazy. But and then let's see, Sleeping Prophet track number 9 was a little bit more mid tempo, but it had a great bass solo in it, which I like that they gave the bassist time to shine. Which, not for nothing, but the overall mix was fantastic. All of the instruments were there, and they were you could hear them all. No one got drowned out. You had the dueling guitar solo on track 8 also, which to me was kind of like a battle hymn, but maybe a little bit of a medieval battle hymn, considering you're talking about dragons. So kind of a medieval mythical kind of battle hymn that you would have heard, kind of Lord of the Rings or whatever. Maybe no, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I said that right. But but overall, I mean, it was super duper up tempo for the most part, except for track 5 and track 9. Even though track 9 just dialed it back a little bit, but this is everything that I definitely would have expected out of a power metal album, especially with Ross the Boss attached, so you can, and, not for nothing, but with Ross the Boss attached, yeah, you could see there was a little bit of Man-O-War sprinkled in there, which is fine. Plenty of chanting and gang vocals and stuff like that. So, definitely nothing I wouldn't have expected from anyone who has any kind of influence from Man-O-War. So gonna give this one 4 horns this week.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
All right. Well, I got to run, so I'm not going to go through the albums that are coming out next week. So we'll
Okay.
we'll let y'all
Well,
be surprised when we come back. So
yeah, and you already talked about it at the beginning of the show anyway. We are not having a normal show next week because
that's right.
we have an interview, and the only spoiler we're giving you is it's a return guest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. And we'll give you
Looking
another.
forward to that.
We'll give you another one if you just have to look down.
I get you. I do. I get you.
But yeah, that probably people listening won't, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Of course, welcome Chris back. So, if if you haven't or you don't know, we do have a 24/7 radio station.
That's
You
right.
can listen to that 24/7. It's playing right now. So
Yeah, it's not just
I
a clever
just
name.
no, it's not. I actually just added about 75 tracks to it the other night or something. So
Nice.
it's pretty up to date. So and actually it's up to date enough to where we've been talking. Actually put a thing out talking about doing a segment with new music, trying
Yeah, trying to put some feelers out. I saw
yeah.
that.
So, but you can check that out over at thefrontrow.net/radio, and radio is a capital R.
Yep. Then follow us on all our social media platforms, our Facebook group and a Facebook page, our X account on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, our YouTube channel, and Rumble. Catch all of the playlists and the band interviews as they're posted over on Spotify. And with the old electronic mail, you can email us at metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com.
Yep, and if you want to know about the guest, you can just follow us on any of those socials, and we will be advertising on that starting on Monday. So
Yep.
hopefully, hopefully we'll see you guys back here for that. Then So we will wrap this one up and call
Yep.
it a day. So until next week, which we hope you'll be here. Keep those horns out high, jump in that pit anytime.